So as you focus, which causes a vibration within you. Now, this focus may be because of something you're observing in your now. It may be because of something you are remembering. It may be something you are imagining. You could be projecting it into the future or remembering it from the past or observing it in your now. It does not matter where your focus comes from or how you have achieved it. Your focus is powerful. Your focus is summoning a source energy. So, as we are moving forward here today, we're going to talk about a variety of processes. And you're going to notice that we are not very supportive of amplifying anything that does not feel good to you. Because we know that as we talk about where you are, we only practice the vibration of where you are. And as we practice the vibration of where you are, where you want to be cannot be. You have to make a decision. You have to say, do I want to remain here where I am, where I'm observing, where I'm feeling, where I'm talking? Or do I want to go over there where I am not used to practicing? And do I want to practice about what's over there until what's over there becomes a more dominant part of my vibration? Because until you make that transfer, until you vibrate more in alignment with what you are wanting cannot be your experience. Not because you are not wonderful, not because you are not worthy, but because law of attraction says you got to vibrate it in order to achieve it. So if you're asking for more money and you're thinking about money, and every time you think about money you get all worried, you're beating the drums of step 1, but you are not in the mode of step 3. So then you say, well, if I practiced feeling that way about money, then how do I change the way I feel about money? And we say, you don't have to change the way you feel about money in the sense that you have to take this thought that is negative when you think about it and think this positive thought about money. You just have to stop thinking that negative thought about money because you've asked and it is given. You see, law of attraction says that which is likened to itself is drawn. When you say in your physical words, ask and it is given, we want to really clarify something. It isn't ask and then do all the right things and it is given. It isn't ask and be born in the right place and it is given. It is ask and do not offer vibrational disharmony to what you are asking for, which is the same thing as saying ask and be a vibrational match to what you are asking for. So we're talking about the path of most allowance, which sometimes is easier for you to hear as the path of least resistance. So what you're reaching for is the path of least resistance. You're reaching for the thoughts on the subject that feel the best to you. And it really is, as you will hear as we move forward here today, an individual in-the-moment determination. In other words, nobody could write a book that says this is the path of least resistance relative to these subjects because no one knows the details of what you are living or the details of what you are wanting or the details of where you are standing. But your guidance system knows that. Your source knows that. So if you begin to pay attention to the way you feel and you feel your way through these subjects, reaching for the path of least resistance, which means the thought that feels the best, you can make your way into pure vibration on any topic and fast and immediate manifestation on anything that you choose. And that is what deliberate creation is. So when you think about the subject of dollars and you think about the specifics, in other words, you say, oh, I need more money and I need it fast. That's not the path of least resistance. You can feel by the knot that sort of wells up in your stomach. So you say, well, let me see if I can find a path of lesser resistance. Good things do come to me in time. Well, maybe that felt a little better. If it did, that was a better choice of thought. When you say, I'm not going to think that thought, you're pretty much thinking that thought. When you say, I'm going to deactivate that bugger, you don't deactivate it, you activate it. So how do you deactivate that thought? By activating another thought. But if you try to activate another thought on the same subject, you usually activate that thought. So we want you to more softly practice the art of allowing. We want you to understand that meditation is the ultimate deactivation. Because when you quiet your mind, you stop all thought. And when you do that, you allow your own vibration to raise, and you put yourself, for the time of that quieted mind, in the receiving mode. When you appreciate, you deactivate negative thoughts. When you adore or praise, you deactivate negative thoughts. This virtual reality process that we are talking about, we are offering because we want you to, in the same attitude that we say, just pet your cat. In other words, don't think about your issues, just pet your cat. And if petting your cat is pleasing to you in the way that it's pleasing to the cat, then for that time of that experience, you are taking the path of lesser resistance, or you are practicing allowing. So, as we are moving forward here today, we'll listen to you about whatever it is you want to talk about. And at every opportunity that we can find, we will help you to find the path of less resistance. What does the path of least resistance mean? It means I'm going to find the best possible way to think and feel about this subject. Over the time, as many of you have been hearing us, sometimes it feels to you that we are offering you a contradiction because we say, you're the creator of your experience and you get what you think about. And so give your attention to those things that you want. And then we say, let's practice the art of allowing by meditating and petting the cat. And you say, which is it? Am I supposed to focus upon what I want, or am I supposed to not focus upon what I want? And we say, the optimum, glorious, creative experience is to focus upon what you want in full connection with the source that is you, and feel the glory and exaltation and passion and eagerness of that creative experience. That is optimum. But if you've already practiced some thoughts about that subject that have you in a place of resistance, then hitting those subjects head on doesn't diminish your resistance, it increases your resistance. And you have to individually discover which is which. So sometimes we would say to a person, as they are dealing with an issue, let's not talk about it at all, let's talk about other things. Let's go to a virtual reality and just think about a blissful moment in time. And they will say, well, what good's that doing? Shouldn't I be dealing with my issue? And we say, no, because if we deal with your issue, all we do is activate it right where you've practiced it. Then sometimes you say, well, if I'm the creator of my own experience, I really want to be hands-on in the creation. I want to think about it. And we say, we want you to too. We want you to think about it as long as when you're thinking about it, it feels good. So here's the way all of this meshes together. You want to be as specific as you can be and still feel good. It's a sort of trial and error thing that you're doing. So let's say that you have a problem with someone you live with. Could be a mother, could be a child, could be a mate, could be a lover, could be a roommate. You have this issue with someone you live with. And so you come to an Abraham seminar and you hear us say, you got to deactivate that issue. So don't think about that. That's the path of least resistance. And you say, well, that's easy for you to say, Abraham. You don't live with this person. I can't deactivate this because this person is in my space. This person is offering vibrations all over the place. This person is cluttering my space, or this person is speaking into my space. I cannot ignore this person. And we say, then the path of least resistance might be moving away. And you say, oh, that's easy for you to say. You didn't make a commitment to this person, or you didn't give birth to this person. I cannot walk away from this person. And we say, well, then that's not the path of least resistance, is it? Then maybe the path of least resistance is actually changing the way you feel or the way you think about this person. And that's a longer, slower process. And ultimately, that's the way we would like you to address all subjects. In other words, we would like you to come to the place where you no longer feel that the outside circumstances have to be modified in order for you to feel good. It's the ultimate unconditional love when you say, I want so much to feel good that I will practice it every chance I get until I've activated good feeling vibrations on so many different topics that that's usually who I am, so that I can approach almost any subject, or I can change my attention easily and I can feel good no matter what. That really is the optimum experience. Sometimes our physical friends say, oh, sure, Abraham, we know what you're doing there. You're wanting us to just get so good at modifying things in our mind that we're able to endure terrible situations that just won't change. And we say, that isn't it at all, because we know when you change it in your vibration, it will change in your peripheral experience, because that which is likened to itself is drawn. And so while it may seem that we are copping out or trying to get you to cop out by releasing the intensity of your desire on some of these subjects, really what we're trying to do every single time is help you find the path of least resistance. Because the path of least resistance and the path of most allowance are the same thing. They are connection to who you really are. And when you are connected to who you really are and living your life, it is such a delicious life. So, we are eager to visit with you about anything that is important to you. No order of business here, other than you will notice a perfect unfolding. Nothing is off limits. You will feel us guiding you to the path of least resistance. And it will be a very productive experience, because when your resistance is not evident within your vibration, all things wanted will be. Very good. So you are ready to go. First, second, third. Well, there isn't anything that we know that you don't already know. Someone says, I have 27 questions, and we said, we have one answer. And you've heard it enough today, haven't you? You like knowing that you are the creator of your experience? You like knowing that everyone else is too? You like knowing that Source supports you in everything that you desire, and that there is nothing that you can identify, whether you articulate it or not, that the universe withholds from you. All things are given in the moment that you ask. We love the deliberateness of your approach, because we know that there is so much satisfaction to be had in being specific about what you want. Because when you are specific about what you want, and you find that crack or path of least resistance, and energy flows through you toward your inspired idea, it is life at its very best. And we know you can't always be there. We know that sometimes you want things so clearly and you are so aware of where you are that you cannot focus upon what you want without activating where you are. And so we understand that it's easy for your vibration to become muddled. We also know that you can feel your way out of the muddle. If there is anything that we want you to take away from this gathering, it is the sentiment that you never get it done. We want you to start easing up on yourself in realizing that you're not ever going to get it done. There's always going to be something else that you desire that is summoning life through you. And if you will accept that and use that knowledge as your reason for slowing up a little bit and smelling the roses a little more and savoring a little more and complimenting a little more and appreciating yourself and others a little more. In other words, just be more of a basker than you are anything else. Jerry said to Esther, as she is wanting to tweak this new coach into the perfection that she imagined before they got it, let's stop fixing and start savoring. And we said, the way you fix is through the savor. We don't know of any way to fix your life or align yourself or allow your source or to achieve what you want. We don't know of any way to do it other than savoring your way there. So as you make a determination that you're going to be a big-time savorer and a hardly ever criticizer and a big-time complimenter and a hardly ever noticing if something wrong and a big-time appreciator and a hardly ever noticing if something gone wrong and a big-time lover and a hardly ever hater and a big-time reaching for thoughts that feel good, as you are reaching for these thoughts that feel best, you are automatically finding your path of least resistance. And when you find your path of least resistance, you are connected to your source of clarity and abundance. and physical stamina and well-being. In other words, all things that you consider to be good, all things that you desire, come to you through this connection of source that is known to you by the joy that you are finding in this moment. So when we say nothing is more important than that I feel good, speaking from your vantage point, we really want you to internalize that sentiment, because nothing is more important than that you feel good. Because when you feel good, you are hooked up to that which is good and allowing continuous manifestations of same.